Hi everyone, a very good noon to all of you. I am Nikita, and today we are going to talk about a vocabulary topic. Now, some of you must be wondering that vocabulary in CAT, see, vocabulary is something that's absolutely essential to understanding your RC passages. And in fact, the topic that we are going to do today is going to teach us about contextual vocabulary, meaning how to understand words when some context is given to us, how to identify the correct words when some context is given to us. Right? So, this is essential to understanding your RC passages. This is essential to even understanding your parasummary, parajumble questions. And of course, it is absolutely directly relevant for all your non-CAT exams, all your OMETs as we call them. Right? So, in all your other management entrance tests, in fact, I'm going to show you some previous year questions. You do get asked these question types, these fill in the blank question types, wherein some words are missing. You have to plug in those words based on your understanding of the surrounding words. So, fill in the blank questions, vocabulary based. That is what we are going to do today. Okay, so welcome to the session and give me a hi, hello, so that I know I'm visible and audible. And then let's begin with our first question. Yes, let's see what you say here. So I'm throwing a question at you straight away because I first want to check what your understanding is, right? Then from there we can proceed. From there I can talk to you about how to identify responses. All right. Let's see what you say for this. Okay. All right. I'll wait for some of you to respond. Hi, Santosh. So here's a fill in the blank question that is given to you. This is a previous year question, right? This came in IIFT. So I'm sure those of you who are planning to take the CAT this year are also thinking about some other management entrance tests and IFT, ZAT, NMAT, etc. may be on your list. So this is an IIFT previous year question. In dash of international matters, there is always an element of risk in dash one might do. So there is always an element of risk in dash one might do. So I think the second blank can really help us here. Prajwal says A, Kritika A, Ujjwal says B. All right. So those who say B, is there a contrast here? So in spite of is used to indicate a contrast. Okay, in spite of, despite, they are contrast words. They tell us that something is happening even though something else, some other condition exists. Right? That is the meaning of in spite of. Okay, so without being affected by the factor mentioned. So in spite of international matters, there is always an element of risk. But then this person is not saying that even though international matters exist, there's always an element of risk in something else. So I don't think that B fits here. Rather, in this clause here, this person is talking about international matters themselves. इंटरनेशनल मैटर्स की ही बात हो रही है इसमें किसी और चीज की बात नहीं हो रही right so I don't think B can be the answer. So those who say A, absolutely correct. In case of international matters, so when I say in the case of so and so thing, that tells me okay, I'm going to talk about that very thing now. Okay, so in case of international matters, there's always an element of risk no matter what you do. That's the idea that the author wants to convey. So in whatever one might do, kuch bhi कर ले, right? In whatever one might do, कुछ भी करें हम. So that's the idea. This is eliminated. This is eliminated in many of international matters. In doing one might do, this does not make sense at all. So I think on the basis of the second blank, very easy to eliminate. Okay, then here again, because of spite, we can reject it. And in whichever, no. We are not talking about, we are talking about the matter itself, कि हम कोई भी काम करें. So the word for that is whatever and not whichever. We are not making a selection here, right? So this was an easy question for you, right? The first question I kept easy. This is a previous year question. So this is to also give you a sense of the fact that not all your questions are difficult, not all your vocabulary questions are difficult, right? Here there were two blanks. Although your session is called double fillers, I am going to show you more than two blanks also, right? Because ultimately what matters to us is what comes in the exams. And they don't really categorize questions like this: single fillers, double fillers, triple fillers. These are categorizations that we have created. So let's see what actually comes in the exams. This was one such question. Now this is question two, and here you have four blanks, right? So one paragraph of sorts is given to you. You have four blanks. Which of the following options will best fill up the above blanks meaningfully? Right? And here you have five options. Why five options? Because this is a ZAT previous year question and ZAT gives you five options. Right? So have a look at this and tell me what the answer should be. Read the surrounding words, read these words very carefully, read the entire paragraph and then go through the options. Hi Prateek. Okay, so eliminate. When you come to the options, eliminate. And you will always find one or the other blank to have very easy options, options that are easy to eliminate, and that can help you to narrow down to the correct answer. Okay, so I've got two A's, one C, one D. All right. So A's, A has the maximum votes right now, right? Uh, the moment we no longer have a free press, anything can happen. What makes it dash for a totalitarian or any other dictatorship to rule is that dash are not informed. So we are saying that, see, free press is very much required in a nation, because if you don't have free press, anything can happen, right? Then the author, as an example, presents to us the case of a dictatorship. So what makes it possible for a dictatorship to rule? That people are not informed. If people were informed, then they would not allow the dictator to rule, right? If they were informed of the injustices. So what makes it possible? And if you look here, right at the first blank, the other options are not even close. Okay, they are not even close. What makes it absurd? Absurd is something that does not make sense logically, right? Unpleasant. No, that will not make it. If people are not informed, it will not be an unpleasant thing for the dictator. It will be a very pleasant thing, right? Then what makes it unique for a dictator to rule? Uh, if I wanted to put this word in that sentence, I should have phrased it like this: what makes dictatorship unique is that, right? Anyway, so I have absolutely eliminated C on the basis of the first blank, right? Let's just cut this. Then look at E. What makes it necessary for for a dictatorship to rule is that citizens are not informed. When citizens are not informed, does dictatorship become necessary, or does making them aware become necessary? Right? So again, this is very contentious. Let's go to the second blank. People, subjects, plebeians. Okay, so people make sense. Subjects are also the people whom you rule, so this also makes sense. Plebeians, I have rejected. I mean, I have already rejected C, but even plebeians mean your common citizens. So even this second blank here makes sense. Senators, however, does not make sense, right? So because we are talking about the masses here, we are not talking about the senators, the in our Indian language, the MPs and MLAs. I'm not talking about them, right? So even this is eliminated. So in the second go, I have eliminated D. So when you go through the options, keep eliminating them, okay? And you will land at the correct answer. The dash is not that you believe the lies. The beauty, how does this fit here? The beauty is not that you believe the lies. Okay, eliminated, right? The consequence, the joy again does not make sense here. Beauty, joy, these words don't make sense. And right at this juncture, you realize अब तो A ही answer है. Fourth blank तो देखने की भी need नहीं है. You get it? So this is how you eliminate. So the consequence, the result is you needed something that meant result. So the consequence is not that you believe the lies, but rather that nobody believes anything any longer. This is because lies by their very nature have to be changed, and a lying government has constantly to rewrite its own history. It's a continuous process. You'll have to keep on doing it. Right? I hope this makes sense. Has anybody read 1984 by George Orwell? This paragraph reminds me of that. Yes. Anyone? So, this part about constantly rewriting history, this is something that has actually been shown in this novel. Okay, so this novel was written much earlier than 1984. It sees 1984 as a future world, a dystopian world where there is an authoritarian dictatorial government, and this government says what is convenient for it. It keeps on changing history according to what is convenient for it. So, they have this department whose job is this only, that the moment the authorities they change history, they burn the old documents, they burn the old newspapers, and they rewrite those documents then. So that's what they do. Okay, so A is our answer here. And if you see, these are very easy words. These are not even very difficult vocabulary words. So all you have to do is make sense of the surrounding words, right? Okay, I think some problem with the camera here. Just give me a second. Uh, All right. Okay. Hope I am visible again to you. Right? Nobody told me this, that I was not visible. Okay. Now I am. All right. Let's come to the third question then. This is an IFT question, 2009-11. So a very old IFT question I have culled out for you. This is to show you that yes, you may have some difficult words also. But these difficult words are also going to be high frequency words. Words that you can see in magazine articles, in newspaper articles, right? So such words. So for instance, lugubrious is one such word, trenchant is one such word. So see these, okay, see this question and then let's discuss these words. Okay, I've got some responses already. Okay, so you see that uh, even this sentence could appear even in an RC passage, even in a reading comprehension passage. And if you do not know the meanings of words such as lugubrious, trenchant, winced, smarted, right? If you don't know these meanings, then it becomes a little difficult for you to comprehend that RC passage, right? Or in fact, it could appear as a sentence in a parajumble. It could appear as a sentence in a para summary question. And if we do not know the meanings of these words, it takes us a lot more time to comprehend that paragraph, that passage, right? So his listeners enjoyed something. What? Enjoyed his dash wit. So I have to describe, I have to look at a word that describes his wit. See, if it is bitter, then they're not going to enjoy it, right? So bitter is a word that I eliminate outrightly. Lugubrious means sad. Okay, lugubrious, sad. So, how can they enjoy something sad? Eliminated, eliminated. What is trenchant? Yes, who will tell me the meaning of trenchant? So, there are two words that I want to give you, trenchant and mordant. Okay, you have to tell me the meanings of both. Yes, trenchant. So, when we read certain pieces, some certain editorial pieces at times, we feel, oh wow, this is so sharply analytical. Okay, this analyzes, this dissects the issue so well, so logically, so cogently. Okay, such an analysis that is very incisive in nature. Okay, that is very incisive in nature, sorry. That is called trenchant. Okay, so absolutely correct. Incisive, something that's very sharp, right? The person is not beating about the bush at all. So his trenchant wit, incisive wits. Okay, so there are certain jokes, no, that are based on the analysis of the situation, and that's why you find them quite witty. So we are talking about such jokes here. Okay, so his trenchant wit, but his victims, because when you go for a pointed analysis, let's say I go for a pointed analysis of a political event. So of course there would be some politician that would be involved in it, and my joke would be on that politician. So the victim, the politician, would of course not enjoy it, right? He or she would often wince. Okay, when you wince, it's this expression. When you something pains you and you give this expression, this is called wincing, right? So wince is the word that we are looking for to make that grimacing sound or that shrinking movement. So they winced at his satire. They were pained by it. Smiled, of course not. Okay. Lugubrious is rejected, so suffered does not make sense. Okay. And suffered should be followed by from and not at. Then smarted again. When a wound smarts, it gives you smarting pain. It's that kind of acute pain that comes and goes. That is when we say that my wound is smarting. Okay, or he or she is smarting under that wound. Okay, so smart does not mean just a person who's, let's say, well dressed. Smart is also used as a verb. Okay, something that causes you stinging pain. That wound smarts. Okay, so D is the answer here, trenchant and winced. Hope this is clear. Now these are high frequency words, and I'm happy that quite a few of you identified the correct answer. Okay, what is mordant though? Mordant is a word that was not given here, but it is related. Who will tell me? What is the difference between trenchant and mordant? What is mordant? So, mordant is specially used for humor. While trenchant can be used for analytical articles, etc., mordant is something that you use for the kind that humor that hurts, right? Biting humor. So this is used for humor, sharp humor, biting humor, cutting humor. That is mordant. So to be honest, I felt that the examiner could have used the word mordant here instead of trenchant, because we are talking about satire, which involves humor. Satire means you're mocking something, right? So it involves humor. So the word mordant would have been an even better fit here. Okay, considering that we were talking about satire. That's why this word came to my mind. Okay. No, 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 no. Mordant is not related to death. That's morbid. That's morbid, where more means death. Okay. Winced is when you make this, shrinking movement because something is paining you. When you make this grimace, this sound, this is a wincing sound. Okay. ठीक है, Ujjwal. I hope this is clear now. Mordant, trenchant. Trenchant is more about incisive, mordant is more about biting humor, right? And smarted and winced, I hope you'll remember. So I just wanted to state this, that it's not that all your entrance tests have 4 options. So that's why we included questions with 5 options today, because that NMAT and MHCT, these are exams that give a student 5 options, right? Hence 5 options in this double filler, 2 blank, fill in the blank. चलो बताओ इसका आंसर. Okay, Mayank says A. Others? Pratik also says A. That's it, 2 responses. This is a case, okay? Name of a case. Similarly, this is also the name of a case. Okay, C. All right. E, okay. A, C, E. All right. So this question, why I included this question today is to show you what all things help you in solving a fill in the blank question. So far what we have seen is that the context helps me, the surrounding words, right? I am marking answers on the basis of surrounding words also, by interpreting the surrounding words, right? Another thing that of course helps me is eliminating the options. So I am recalling the meanings of various words that are there in the options and then deciding whether they will fit or not. I am also looking at the connotation of various words that are given in the options. Right. So, for instance, is this a positive word? Do I need a positive word here? Do I need a negative word here? These are also some things that we are evaluating. So connotation, the image associated with the word, whether it is positive, negative, or neutral, right? The third thing, which is why I have given you this question that may help you at times, is grammar. Okay, so pay attention to, in the previous question, uh, in this question, for instance, no wait, in this question I told you that suffered के बाद from आता है, at नहीं आता, तो ये तो anyway eliminated. So what is this? I made a grammatical connection there, isn't it? Then here also, here there is a क्या है यहाँ पर? A as a dash challenge. So as a uncustomary challenge, ठीक है? Is it correct to say as an uncustomary challenge or as an uncustomary challenge? This is a, right? Vowel sound. So it has to be an uncustomary challenge, an ordinary challenge. So A and C cannot be the answers here. Do you get this? I eliminated this simply on the basis of the fact that these are vowel sounds. They need an an. They don't need a. Okay, so Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health Organization, the dash case marking the end of, so it marked the end of a previous case, began as a dash challenge to an abortion law in Mississippi, right? So, momentary case, that means it existed only for a moment. That does not make sense. So, this I eliminated on the basis of the fact that I'm looking for a word that means important, because this case ended another case, right? So momentary, something that exists only for a moment, does not make sense in this context. So on the basis of context, rejected. On the basis of grammar, I've rejected. Let's look at watershed and historical. So watershed means important, significant, something that marks a turning point. Historical, it means past case, purana case, right? Okay, so you, I think, understand that B makes more sense. Began as a dash challenge to an abortion law in Mississippi. Middle of the road simply means something that is mild, and it is used for courses of action, for decisions that you take. You know, they decided for a middle of the road path. उन्होंने जो एक्शन लिया वो मिडिल ऑफ द रोड था, एक्सट्रीम नहीं था. So it is used often for decisions. Okay, I want to say that it began as an ordinary challenge. So run of the mill means ordinary. So something that proved to be so important actually began as something very common, something very normal, something very usual, ordinary. So I'm looking for synonyms of these, and B provides me synonyms of these. Do we get this? B is the answer. So Kritika, historical is written here. Historic makes much more sense. You are right. Historic means significant. So historic would make sense in the first blank. That is why I put historical, to confuse you. Historic means significant, important, but historical simply means belonging to the past. Okay, so I hope this is clear that grammar can also help you, and now you'll pay attention to grammar as well, apart from context and connotation. So look at the question 5, and here you have 3 blanks. Now this is a slightly different question. You are given 7 words in the options. Out of these, 3 fit. So you have to tell me which combination of words fits this paragraph. Yes. Let's see what you say. Akin has already answered. But is it the correct answer? Ujjwal says C. So take the help of options here. Analyze that in the first blank, which option, which word fits? 1, 3, 4, or 6? Kritika says it should be 3, 4, 6, which is C. All right. Ujjwal also said C. Prateek thinks it should be A. Okay. See, two options can be very easily eliminated here, right? If you look at 1, sorry, if you look at 4, penchant for, and 6, investment in, they can't end a sentence, right? Somewhat penchant for, somewhat investment in does not make sense. So grammatically it does not make sense, right? And therefore DE eliminated. So we are left with 1, we are left with 1 and 3. It's either 1 or 3, right? So if we read it carefully, the serious study of popular films, the mainstream films, right? by critics is regularly credited with having rendered obsolete a once dominant view that popular mainstream films are inherently inferior to art films. So I am saying that now this view is obsolete. Now we don't think that mainstream films are inherently inferior to art films. Yet, so yet is important. It indicates a contrast. Yet, the change of attitude may be somewhat dashed. So, we are saying that attitudes have changed. Now, we no longer think that mainstream films are inherently inferior to art films. Yet, the change may be somewhat overstated. Why? See this. How did I realize that it has to be overstated? Although it is now academically respectable to analyze popular films, the fact that many critics feel compelled to rationalize their own dash for action movies or mass market fiction, they have to continuously rationalize that, oh, we like action movies, we like mass market fiction. So why to rationalize it, why to justify it to others? If you feel that mainstream movies like action movies, mass market movies, they are as good as art movies, then as a critic you should not have to feel that need to justify it to others that you like action movies or you like mass market movies. So the fact that you feel this need to justify your liking for them, it has continued. It has continued investment in the old hierarchy. That means you are still invested in that old hierarchy. That means you still think that old hierarchy is there, that art films are better than popular films, if you're continuously justifying your liking of popular films, right? So this change in attitude is overstated, उतना नहीं है जितना लग रहा है सबको, because penchant means liking, because critics are constantly justifying their liking for mass market movies. This shows their investment in the old hierarchy. 346, excellent. Those who said 346, Ujjwal, Kritika, Mayank, Akin, good. Okay, D and E, yes, we eliminated them, correct. I hope this makes sense to you. So you can get such questions also where you have to choose among a number of words, right? So showing you what actually comes in the exams, right? So here again we have something that probably we would call a triple filler, three blanks, okay? And you have very close words here. So analyze it, okay? Understand it well and then answer, because some of the words here are pretty close, right? Look at this. I've got one response. Another one, Pratik says D. All right. What do the others say? Okay, so we have A, we have D. That's it, just two responses. Others. It was dash that he made such a dash remark, considering that he always kept telling people to not be dash. So, one thing again, such a ironic does not make sense grammatically. Such an ironic would make sense. Okay, so C I eliminated right away. Okay, then let's have a look at the other options. It was ironic, it was sarcastic, oxymoronic, caustic. We should know the meanings of these words. Irony means that there is a gap between what was expected and what has actually happened. And most often, what happens is that what has actually happened is the opposite of what you expected. Right? That is an ironical situation. Right? So, irony is what was expected has not happened, rather something drastically different from it, most often opposite of it, has happened. That is irony. Then sarcasm is, again, sarcasm, it's a use of irony. It's called a use, it's a verbal irony. When you say something which is the opposite of what you mean, when you say the opposite of what you mean, opposite of what you mean, usually to taunt. Okay, so for instance, if let's say someone, there's a problem, okay, and someone states a very obvious solution which I have already tried and that has not worked, and that's why the problem still exists. So if someone states a very obvious solution and I am in a bad mood, I would say, oh genius, that would never occur to me, right? So I am being sarcastic there, of course. So say the opposite of what you mean, and the idea is to taunt the other person, right? Oxymoron. Oxymoron means two opposite words placed together. Two opposite words placed together. It's a figure of speech. Two opposite words placed together. For instance, a rich beggar, an honest thief. These are oxymorons. Honest thief. Okay. Caustic, it means something that is very, harshly critical, and that's why it's biting. Okay, so ये trenchant का cousin है, caustic, biting, harshly critical. So now he made such a dash remark, considering that he always kept telling people to not be. So basically, you think it's a little hypocritical that he made a bad remark. See, all these words caustic, moronic, paradoxical, biting, they show that the remark that has been made is not a very pleasant remark. So he made an unpleasant remark, and it's actually a little hypocritical or shocking, considering that he always kept telling people to not be what, to not be, let's say, spiteful, to not be rancorous. When you're rancorous, you are bitter and resentful. When you're spiteful, again you are very resentful, you want to seek revenge. Okay, mordant is, as I've told you, it's about humor, right? Biting humor. So do you see how I am eliminating? Okay, how I am eliminating here. I am eliminating on the basis of the meanings of these words. I should know the meanings of these words when the options are so close. Okay, I am eliminating on the basis of grammar. Okay, and now I'll see, okay, what actually fits now that I've analyzed the meanings of all of them. So it was ironic. You didn't expect this from him, but it actually happened. So it was ironic that he made such a caustic, he made such a biting remark, कंसिडरिंग दैट ही ऑलवेज केप्ट टेलिंग पीपल टू नॉट बी बिटर. तो उसने खुद ने इतना हार्शली क्रिटिकल रिमार्क करा, जबकि वो लोगों को कहता रहता था कि हमें बिटर नहीं होना चाहिए. So this, he did not say the opposite of what he meant, so there is no sarcasm that I detect here. No opposite words placed together, so D is eliminated. Okay, then the fact that he made a caustic remark was ironic. It was caustic that he made a biting remark. This does not make sense. Okay, and in fact caustic, biting, acerbic, ये सब synonyms हैं. They are all synonyms. Okay, तो सारे blanks में एक ही जैसे synonyms यहाँ पर नहीं fit हो रहे हैं. Hope this makes sense to you सबको. मैं अपने आप से बातें नहीं कर रही, I hope. So Shri has raised a good question, although we are way past that question, but I'll still again go to it. Usually we write like this, has to constantly rewrite. Has to constantly rewrite. Look at the last line. We are talking about the last line here. Has constantly to rewrite. This appears incorrect to us, isn't it? Because usually I would write like this. We have to constantly do this. We have to constantly rewrite. However, Puritans in grammar, people who are very strict about grammar rules, they have a rule that says that you should not split to plus a verb. So to rewrite is called an infinitive. ठीक है, टू रीराइट क्या है, एक इन्फिनेटिव है. इन्फिनेटिव इज टू प्लस द बेस फॉर्म ऑफ द वर्ब, टू प्लस द बेस फॉर्म ऑफ द वर्ब, not acting as a verb, but rather acting as an adjective, adverb or a noun. ठीक है, इसको इन्फिनेटिव बोलते हैं. तो अब जो प्योरिटन्स है ग्रामर में वो कहते हैं कि इन्फिनेटिव्स को स्प्लिट नहीं करना चाहिए. वी शुड नॉट स्प्लिट आवर इन्फिनेटिव्स, मीनिंग वी कैन नॉट place any other word, any adverbs in between our infinitive. So this is a very pure way of writing, that this person has not split the infinitive here, and that's why we have the adverb first and then the infinitive together. So it's not incorrect. Rather, it's a very pure format of writing. Okay. So this is, you can search more about split infinitive. ठीक है? OMETs is other management entrance tests. Okay, let's have a look at question 7 now. So question 7 is again a little different because you have to find one word that fits into the maximum number of statements. That's what you have to find here. So tell me what the answer should be. Which word fits in the maximum number of blanks? Sonali says D. The fruit was swinging low and she plucked it. Swinging low. Ujjwal says B. Hanging. Okay. Others. Okay. B, D. Other options. I need more options, more answers. Excellent, Kritika. The answer is dangling. Okay. So what made you decide dangling over the others? Um, in case you've heard these sentences in some context. Okay. So dangling means, yes, it means hanging or swinging loosely. Dangling means hanging or swinging. All of these words are very close to each other, aren't they? But the best fit here is dangling. It fits all the blanks, in fact. Okay, why? Okay, so I made the decision based on these two blanks. His boss had tried dangling. When we talk about incentives, when we talk about enticing someone, we say, oh, he's dangling a carrot in front of him, right? So, when you show someone something in order to entice them, you dangle an incentive, a carrot as a metaphor for an incentive in front of them. So that was one that made me decide this. Also, these earrings, these long earrings, they are called danglers. So that was again something that made me decide that dangling is the best fit. I love her dangling earrings. Okay, so they are called danglers, these hanging earrings. Okay, so the fruit was dangling low. This makes sense. Please don't keep her dangling, please don't keep her hanging. So please don't keep her dangling. And hanging here, if I write hanging here, no, that can have a very negative connotation that she's hanging from a rope or something, right? So please don't keep her. Dangling is a better word choice. Hence, C. Okay. All right. Good, good, good. What about this? The last question for the day. Now, here again, there are four blanks with four options. So, a normal question. Okay, an easy question because one or two of the blanks are very easy. So, let me see what you say. Yes. In case I forgot to discuss drooping, drooping indicates the idea of, uh, something that is very limp, something that's not, that's sagging. Okay, so it's used for flowers, for instance. Drooping, a drooping flower would be a murjhaya hua phool, right? So drooping does not make much sense. I love her drooping earrings. No. Let's see what you say for question number 8. Ujjwal says A. What about others? Mayank also says A. See, option C can be easily eliminated. Allies are friends, and we are saying opposing, right? So ally तो नहीं होगा यहाँ पर. Moreover, I need a plural word here. Opposing, there must be at least two parties, right? So C is eliminated. Then what else? The dash and dash of their arguments, the dash and clarity. I'm again looking for a positive word here. The dash and clarity of their own beliefs. So weakness or illogicality don't make sense again. Very easy, this question was. The answer is A. Opposing antagonists make sense. Opposing parties, right? Antagonists. They are anti each other. So, antagonists. Cogency and clarity. Cogency means how logically sound your argument is. Makes sense. Bewitched, mesmerized, okay? Enchanted. So, these words made sense here. Bewitched, enchanted. Enchanted also made sense. But then, ally does not make sense since it encourages the dash adjustment and refinement of competing positions. What is dialectical? Some of you must be wondering this, yes? What is teleological? So let's learn the meanings of these two words. See, dialectical. A dialectic is a discussion, a formal discussion, a logical discussion. Dialectic is a logical discussion. So dialectical adjustment would be an adjustment in your beliefs that would happen as a result of logically discussing it with someone. And we are talking about, yes, debate happening here. है ना डिबेट ही तो हो रहा है इस क्वेश्चन में सो डायलेक्टिकल एडजस्टमेंट मेक्स परफेक्ट सेंस teleological is a philosophy, it's a belief. It defines things based on the purpose they have and not on the basis of the cause of their origin, right? So for instance, we do not know how what what brought about uh, like for instance in religion we say god brought about human beings, right? In science we say evolution brought about human beings, but was there a particular cause, was there a reason behind their let's say emergence? Now we don't know that. So teleology says that look at the purpose that we are here to serve, forget about the cause, right? Look at the purpose that we are here to serve. So that's how it defines things, that it does not look at the cause behind the origin of something, it rather looks at the purpose that it serves. Okay, all right. So I hope this makes sense. For question 7, option B, bache, stay, B cannot be the answer. Why? Because hanging earrings is not as appropriate as dangling earrings. Similarly, dangling an incentive makes much more sense, dangling a carrot rather than hanging a carrot in front of him. Right? Hanging a carrot gives the impression आप उसके सामने टांग के चले गए. Dangling is that you are actively showing it to him. Please don't keep her dangling. Again makes more sense here because you are, when we say please don't keep her hanging, it's like she is hanging by a thread or she's hanging somewhere. So dangling again makes slightly better sense in the fourth blank. Second and third mein strongly it makes better sense. That's why it will be dangling. Okay. Word meaning of the options. What to do then? So in that case, see, we can make guesses here. For instance, I made a guess that I need a positive word here. अब यहाँ पर weakness, illogicality, that did not fit. But I understand these are easier words. Let's talk about, I think, this one where there were difficult words, and these are also not difficult actually. But here again, you have to understand sentence क्या बोलने की कोशिश कर रहा है. Take the help of context then, the surrounding words in the sentence itself. Okay. टेक द हेल्प ऑफ कॉन्नोटेशन देन. पॉजिटिव वर्ड चाहिए, नेगेटिव वर्ड चाहिए. अगर एग्जैक्ट मीनिंग नहीं भी पता है, कई बार हमें ये आइडिया होता है ना दैट ओके दिस इज अ पॉजिटिव वर्ड एंड इफ आई नीड अ नेगेटिव वर्ड, तो चाहे उसका जो भी मीनिंग है पॉजिटिव वर्ड का वो फिट नहीं होगा. राइट? सो टेक द हेल्प ऑफ कॉन्टेक्स्ट एंड कॉन्नोटेशन देन. दैट विल हेल्प. Okay, and grammar in some questions that will also help you. So these were some questions, and they, I mean, these questions, they are very close to what comes in your OMETs, right? And as I said, these are, some of these were paragraphs. So such paragraphs can be there as part of your RC passages and para-based questions also. So I hope they've given you some sense of how to interpret text, right? You are inferring, you are interpreting, you are plugging in. That's what you are doing. Practice such questions. You will find them very easily in XAT, IFT, SNAP, previous year papers. Okay, you will find them in the NMAT official guide, the official guide released by NMAT authorities. So practice such questions. Okay, and these are our CAT 22 toppers. There are a lot more. We've had excellent conversions, final conversions to B schools this year, right? So in case you want to be one of them next year, we have this new batch available for you. You can enroll in it now. The link is in the description box. You can see the details here. It's a very comprehensive program. Also, to make it accessible for you, we have scholarships. So if you're interested, you can take the scholarship test on 14th at 11 a.m. If you perform well in it, you can get even up to a 90% scholarship. Then, in case you're worried about your strategy and you have taken CAT already, right? If you're a retaker and you're worried about your strategy, then I think this has already happened. Wait, forget about this. Okay, this has already happened. It was preponed. Anyway, look at this section-wise quiz here, right? So we keep on giving you more and more questions to attempt questions from, right? And on our app, we have daily section-wise quizzes, so you can access them, vocabulary quizzes, grammar quizzes, etc. And that will help you to further learn the application of various words that you learn. Okay, so your exams are not just about building a pool of vocabulary, you should also know the application of those words. And for those of you who are targeting CAT this year, we have this series 500 most expected CAT questions. It has been going on, it will keep going on till CAT, so do keep joining us for this. Right? We are everywhere on social media, so you can follow us, right? I'm sure you've subscribed to the channel, and you can download the app for more informative sessions. We keep coming up with more sessions there as well. All right, so this is it from my side for today. I'll see you next time. I hope you had fun. Bye-bye.